Hey guys, good morning. We're going to start here in just a minute. Some more people streaming in. We have a great turnout. I think we had over 100 people sign up for this webinar, so I'm excited to present it to you. Little introduction for me, and if you don't know who I am, my name is Jim Remley. I'm a active real estate broker out in Southern Oregon. So we're just, my company is just over the border from California. We're in Ashland and Medford. So we have 160 brokers with our team, and did just over $900 million in business in 2019. We're very fortunate to be listed in the top 500 companies in America again last week. So it's exciting for us. We're a little, little rural area, about a population base of about 80,000. So, for us to be listed in one of the top companies in America, it's a great feeling. But we're all, dealing with something that's unique in this industry, which is the COVID-19 crisis, obviously. And today is going to be all about how we deal with that, how we adapt to it, what we're going to do over the next 90 days with our business. A lot of you, especially my coaching students, have taken the time to write detailed business plans, and they have a 1-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. But based on what's happened over the last couple of months, we kind of just have to take the business plan we had in mind and, at least set it to the side, if not just throw it out altogether, because things have changed so dramatically. We have to think about how we're going to adapt to this different market environment. And that's what all this is about today, is giving you a bunch of ideas, and really granular ideas. I've been on a lot of webinars. I've spoken at conventions, and I've seen sometimes when you get speakers who just give you a lot of top level information, but not really granular information. That kind of drives me crazy when I'm in the audience. So I'm going to give you a lot of really specific texts and tools and letters and emails and strategy today that I believe really can help you with your business over the next 90 days. So we're going to jump in. Hopefully you're all here. Just a couple of notes. If you have a question, feel free to ask it, and I'll do my best to circle around and answer those questions at the end of the program. And then if you want to, if we're not connected already, you can connect with me all over social media at eRealEstateCoach. You can see my Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the places, YouTube. And then also, of course, you can visit us at eRealEstateCoach.com. So we'd love to see you over there. But let's jump in. So we're going to talk first about the 5 points of a successful pivot. A pivot means in business that we have to change, right? We have to pivot. We have to shift our strategy. If we don't do that in this current market environment, we're going to struggle. And I've talked to a lot of agents who are struggling right now because basically they either don't know what to do, or they're continuing to do what they've been doing, which is not going to work. It's absolutely not going to work. So you can't continue as business as usual. And in the absence of having a plan, that's what most people do, or they just don't do anything. So there's groups of agents out there that are just in complete hibernation mode, which is good news for the rest of us that are actually continuing to work. So here's the 5 points of a successful pivot. And I always like to give you some ways to remember these things. So they'll all start with M, the 5 M's. Here we go. So number 1 is mental toughness. This may be the most important part of, you really being able to pivot or get through this crisis successfully. Some people are allowing themselves to be just beaten down mentally every morning. And the first thing they do in the morning is they reach for their phone while they're in bed having coffee, and they start reading CNN, USA Today, Fox News, whoever it is you listen to, and you get bombarded by bad news. How does that set the tone for the day for you? Does that set you in a position to win? Does that set you in a position to succeed for your clients? Not that we don't want to be isolating ourselves and pretending nothing's happening. I get it, but it's really how you're starting the day. Of course, you're going to tap into the information at some point during the day, but think about how you're starting each day and how you're coming to work. I'm a person that starts my day at 5 a.m. every morning. I want to have an hour and a half or 2 hours a day where I can have some time where I can really dig into some creative work. I feel like I need creative space. And that's what I do every morning. So really you have to align yourself in this crisis. You have to align your mind, your body, and your spirit. What I mean by your mind is you've got to give yourself, feed yourself fuel that will take you through every day. We're actually not going to be working 8 hours a day, guys. If you want to get through this and succeed, it's going to be more like 10, 12, 14 hours a day if you really want to go all at it. Body means you cannot let yourself, just disintegrate here. You need to get up, you got to get dressed, you got to act as if you are operating at a high level, and that way you will operate at a high level. Act as if every day you're going to have a Zoom meeting. Act as if every day you're going to be, face to face with somebody through a video conference call. That's the way you need to be acting. But body also means keeping your body in tune. If you let yourself go, and we always let ourselves go first, we're the first thing we set aside. So we let our diets go, we let our exercise go, we let our personal space and sanctuary time go, we let our faith go. So we got to reconnect with those things if we want to operate at a higher level and become a higher version of ourselves. So you should be looking at investing in your body as the number one investment you make in all things. And what I mean by that is, how much money do you invest in your car? Yesterday, my wife took her car in, and $1,200 worth of work. Now, there's no option. We have to spend $1,200 to keep this thing on the road, right? How many times have we spent $1,200 on our body just to keep ourselves fired up, motivated, engaged with the right supplements, the right exercise equipment, the right gym, the right trainer, the right nutritionist, whatever it happens to be, to get yourself in the not perfect, but as good as you can get position with your body, and your spirit kind of comes along with the mind body, and you have an increased level of awareness and self-awareness and awareness in your environments. Spirit can also relate to your faith and all those things. So you got to think about, how are you going to align all those things? How are you going to be mentally tough? How are you going to have grit through this? If you don't take control of those three aspects, nothing else is going to work. You got to take control of those things. You also got to map your plan. I'm going to give you a map today, which you can follow or not, but this is where you need to write down an action plan for the next 90 days. Don't worry about the rest of the year. It's too fluid. We have to worry about right now, the next 90 days. Third, we're going to move into new areas of growth. We cannot continue to do business like we've always done. We're going to have to do things we never have done. One of the things that a lot of agents are going to have to wrap their minds around and just get right with is doing video. You're going to have to see yourself in a Zoom meeting, and you're going to see yourself on video like I'm seeing myself right now, but you're also going to see yourself on social media. And the people that say, I don't like the way I look, I don't like the way I sound, guess what? Get over it. You're going to have to be in a video conference with people now. You're going to have to put yourself out there if you want to succeed. If you don't want to compete at a high level, then don't do it. But if you want to compete at a high level, you're going to have to think about these things and do things differently. Fourth is to measure your daily performance. Super important that you measure performance. If you go into the gym and you don't measure performance, what happens is we tend to sink to the level of mediocrity that surrounds us. So we'll just do the bare minimum. Just get by. We gotta phone it in, right? That's why you have to measure performance. How far did you run? How much weight did you lift? How many reps did you do? And that's the way you get better at what you're trying to accomplish. The same is true in business. We got to record, how many calls do we make? How many connections do we make? How many appointments did we set? How many meetings did we schedule? All of those things have to be measured so that we can improve. So today I do one thing, tomorrow I do the next thing, but also I'm tracking what succeeds. I'm figuring out what works and what doesn't, so I can focus on what works. And then fifth is to modify your approach. We're going to have to rapidly adapt to what will work now. So in some markets, some things will work. In other markets, other things will work. You need to figure out what's working for you and really work the plays that work, right? Run the plays that work. But I'm going to give you a bunch of good news real quickly, because I want to reset your mind for today. I'm going to give you 4 or 5 slides here. This is going to talk a little bit about some positive things that you can focus on. One, PricewaterhouseCoopers. You've heard of them. They're the guys that do the Oscars. They're the accountants for the Oscars. But they're also one of the largest accounting firms in the country, one of the top 7, I believe. They set this question out to the companies that they work with. And the question was this: if COVID-19 were to end today, how long would you estimate it would take for your company to get back to business as usual? And this is such an interesting question. And the answer to that for 66% of the companies was less than a month. Less than a month. So think about that. Millions of people out of work in less than a month. 66% of these businesses interviewed would bring their employees back, back to business as usual. 90% said 1 to 3 months, which is why a lot of major financial firms are calling for a V-shaped recovery, meaning we're going to hit a bottom and it's kind of a straight down, elevator rapidly going down. We're seeing, millions of people be laid off, but we're going to hit a bottom, and then we're going to come back up out of it as soon as we get to the end of the COVID-19 crisis at hand. Goldman Sachs believes this: the economy will bounce back nicely in the second half. GDP will be up 12% in the third quarter and another 10% in the fourth quarter. But they're not alone. Two other major companies have joined kind of the chorus about what they believe to be a V-shaped recovery. JP Morgan believes it. Morgan Stanley believes it. And the stock market, if you watched it last week and on Monday of this week, had a rally of 20%. They went back off the bottom, came back up 20%. Now we know that's going to be volatile. There's going to be a lot of volatility in the market. But why did it have that optimism for the last week? They saw signs. They saw glimmers of hope that this crisis was cresting, that in some areas of the world it was coming over the top. China is coming back to work. Today was the first day they've opened the city up, and it's full of people. People are back to work. So there's areas of hope, and when there's hope, people respond to it. John Burns Consulting says this: historical analysis showed us that pandemics are usually V-shaped. Sharp recessions that recover quickly enough to provide little damage to home prices. And some very cutting-edge search engine analysis by our information management team showed the current slowdown is playing out similarly thus far. Here's James Bullard, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. He says this: this is a planned, organized, partial shutdown of the U.S. economy in the second quarter. I'd see the third quarter as a transitional quarter, with the fourth quarter and first quarter of next year as quite robust. Again, he's calling for a V-shape. Now, there's some agents, and even my coaching students, who say, Jim, what about foreclosures? I'm worried that we're going to have a return of kind of the 2008, 2009, 2010, foreclosures. First of all, this is a completely different market. In my market today, even with what's happened, we're still sitting at 2 months of supply. Remember, we went into the Great Recession with 11 months of supply. It's a completely different market environment. We've actually come in February of this year was the best month for real estate since February 2007. It was an incredibly good month. So there was strong buyer demand. There was a lot of sellers coming back to market. And then we kind of got this wet blanket that came on the market. But the reason I bring this up is because of the foreclosure risk. Here's the numbers today, completely different than 2008, 2009. Today, 37% of homeowners in America have no mortgage at all. I was actually shocked by that number. That's incredible. 37%, over a third of the people in your neighborhoods don't even have a mortgage. Of the remaining 63%, more than 1 in 4 have 50% equity or more. So very stable, very secure, very safe where they're at. And now, does that mean there won't be any increase in foreclosures? No. And there's some opportunities there, but it's not going to be a huge, influx of foreclosures. Here's a couple more points, and then we're going to move on to business planning. But Zillow Research has done a really deep analysis of past pandemics. Now, it's not a direct analogy. Nobody's seen this kind of level of pandemic, of course, worldwide, except with the Spanish flu, but that was 100 years ago. Times have changed, I get it. But they did do some comparisons, and it's interesting. During the epidemics, such as the Spanish flu in 1918 or the 2003 SARS outbreaks, the economic activity fell sharply. Temporary 5 to 10% hit to GDP, but snapped back quickly once the epidemic was over. It's different for a typical recession, which has a 6 to 18 month timeline. So it's completely different where you have this long kind of period of recession. During SARS, for instance, Hong Kong house prices didn't fall significantly, but the transaction volumes, which is what we're going to see here in April, transaction volumes fell by 33 to 72% as customers avoided human contact. We're going to see more of that, and we're seeing that across the country. So that's avoidance behavior. But after the epidemic was over, transactions snapped back to normal volumes, which is what we're looking for. Now, during the current episode in China, this is relevant data right now. Early news reports indicate that home prices have not fallen so far, and buyers are returning to the market. So all good news. But all that being said, we have to realize that we got to work differently. So your old numbers are not going to work for the next 90 days at least. So here's some of the old numbers that we kind of cling to in real estate most of the time. The one is for every 30 conversations you have, you'll have one closed sale. That's a very common number you see. For every 10 people in your sphere of influence, you'll average one closed sale. For every 50 online leads you generate, you'll average one closed sale. That's kind of some numbers that we see all the time in the industry, right? Those won't work right now. And you're going to say, well, Jim, why won't they work? Here's why they won't work. Because your potential client base has been cut in half at least. Now, what does that mean? How do we have it cut in half? How did that happen? What are we talking about? So let me share with you why that's true. So there's a difference between customers in your market, in any market, that need to sell, and then customers who want to sell or buy. So need to sell, want to, need to sell, need to buy, yeah, or want to sell, want to buy. Completely different mindset. So if I want to sell, like in my home now, I'm kind of sick of my house. I could easily get out of here, but that's a want. I don't have to do it. Nobody's pressing me to do it. It's just like, hey, yeah, maybe I'd do it, right? Somebody could talk me into it, probably. If they offered me something, I could be talked into it. That's a want to sell. On the flip side, a need to sell is somebody who's lost their job or wants to move closer to family so I can take care of my family, right? Or maybe I got a different job, or I have a business and the business is not doing so well, so I need some liquidity so that I can fund my business activities. Or maybe I own a vacation rental or 10 vacation rentals, and I'm not getting any money because there's no bookings and I need to sell, right? So there's some reasons why I might need to sell. So that's the two different categories. Want to buy, want to sell, need to sell, need to buy. So here's what we're doing right now as lead generators, as somebody who's in business. I have to understand that the people that want to do something may be sitting on the sidelines and saying, I'm going to wait for this to end. I'm going to wait for the COVID-19 crisis to end. Then I'll enter the market. I'm not going to do this because I don't have to do it. But the people that need to do it still have to do it, right? That's why our markets never go to zero. They always will be trading. There's always going to be real estate trading back and forth, no matter what the circumstances. Even in the states where you can't even show property, there are still transactions happening. It's not gone to zero. And the reason is because people have a need to buy or a need to sell. So as we're identifying opportunities, which is what lead generation is all about, is identifying opportunities, we're stacking people into one of two piles. Either they want to buy, want to sell, or they need to sell, need to buy. And we are okay with that. But we just have to understand that in order for us to generate enough business to stay afloat, to maintain our business model and, to feed our families, we may have to increase activity. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. So, but just remember something though, as we're lead generating, even though this half of my clients are not going to do business as they normally would, they will soon. And what I mean by that is we're going to stack those clients into a pile, and that pile is going to be people that we're going to circle back to. We're going to talk to them every month. We're going to talk to them. We're going to drip on them, and we're going to communicate with them because they will do business. They're just not going to do it during the COVID-19 crisis. So that means that we actually are facing in the very next few months a super surge of activity, super surge where all these people that are on the sidelines that would have listed in April and May and maybe June all suddenly come onto the market as soon as this crisis ends. So what we do right now is we're setting a foundation with all those people that want to do something but aren't pressed to do it. And we're still doing business right now today with all the people that need to do business. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So don't assume that all that lead generation is for naught. It's still going to pay off in huge ways when this crisis is over. So one thing that's important though is to identify where are your hot zones in your market? Where should you be focusing your efforts? So this means you should be what I call heat mapping your market. We do something in our office called our market snapshot report. My coaching students get a spreadsheet where they can map their own markets. But this is an example. So this is actually our March 2020 numbers from my real market. We just came out. One of my friends, Barbara Brown, puts this together in our office. And we do a price band report. So we break the market down by price band. In our market, you can see that it's still very active until you start to get up into a higher price category. Once you get over 500,000, we go from 2.7 months in the 350 to 500,000 range, all the way to 7.3 months of inventory in the 750 to 1 million range, 500 to 750 range. And then when we go over that 750 range, we go to 7.7 months. And then you look over $1 million, guess what? We got a big goose egg last month. No pending sales over $1 million last month. So do I want to focus all my energy on $1 million properties? No. Do I want to focus all my energy on $750,000 properties? No. Where do I want to focus my energy? Because I've heat mapped this. I want to say, where's the hot zone? The hot zone really in my market is 250 to 350, 111 pending sales last month, and then 350 to 562. So that zone, that 250 to $500,000 zone is the hot zone. That's where I want to spend my energy and really spend a lot of time and effort in that market. So we have to understand what's happening in our market. I don't want to get caught up and going out and listing $3 or $4 or $5 million properties, even though those people may need our help. We definitely want to give them our help, but it's how much we're focusing our energy. Where are we going to spend our energy to generate results for our business? So today I'm going to walk you through 4 categories of clients who need your help. Desperately, they need your help. And I'm going to give you specific guidance on each of these 4 categories. So business owners, investors, vacation rental owners, and laid off or out of work employees. 4 categories of folks that absolutely need your help, okay? And I'm going to give you a lot more tools beyond that. So, but before we get there, I want to talk about the importance of you taking a leadership role when it comes to your market and your business. So what's happening with some agents is that they are not saying anything about this crisis. They're just kind of head in the sand, hoping it goes away faster than, sooner than later. That's a terrible approach. You got to get ahead of this, and you've got to stand up in front of your market and take a leadership role. And what that means is you talk to your audiences and you let them know week by week what's happening with the market, what's happening with your office procedures and your procedures. How are you adapting? What are you doing differently? How can you help people? And you're communicating consistently. So it doesn't have to be all, roses in the communication. You can tell the truth and you can be completely transparent. But here's the thing, when you take that leadership role, even if people don't do business with you today, they will remember that forever because you stood up and you told people what was going on. That's what people want. They want communication. Now, we all didn't know this gentleman, and I'm going to mispronounce his name, Dr. Bucci, I think it is. And I can't pronounce his name, but I know who he is, right? So we're seeing him every day in multiple channels, everywhere. Why? Because he's taken a leadership role. He's communicating every single day about what's going on with COVID, and he's super trusted. Everybody trusts what he's telling us is to be accurate because he's being straight. He's telling us how it is. He's giving us accurate information, and there's no pulling of the punches. He's just telling us how it is. We need to be doing the same thing. A couple of agents I work with, fantastic agents. Cindy Williams shot a video doing exactly that. Russ Manzone shot a video doing exactly that. So this is the important thing, guys, is we can communicate by email. We can communicate by text. We can communicate in all these other ways. But the most powerful way you can communicate with your database is through a video. Now, it could be a bomb video for those of you that are using bomb. But social media, could be a social media, could be YouTube, could be all 3, right? So you might say, well, Jim, what am I going to say? What am I going to say every week? For my coaching students, we provide actual scripting every single week of exactly what to say, so you don't even have to think about it. For those of you that are saying, I can't talk to camera that long, I get jumbled up, I don't say the right things. How do I do this and do it looking professional, right? There's lots of teleprompter programs you can download on your phone that will make this easy. And the words just scroll in front of you and you just read it off like you're a newscaster. It's super easy, right? One of them a lot of my students use is Videolicious. So you can download that app on your phone, Videolicious. There's paid versions of it, there's free version of it, and you can use it as a teleprompter app. So I'm going to give you a couple of different scripts that we've used with my coaching students to help position them to be leaders in the community, right? So here we go. Here's one. Hey guys, quick update, and I'm speaking to camera now, on the real estate market in our area and how as realtors we're continuing to conduct business while social distancing and staying safe. First, National Association of Realtors reported last week, now this was about a week ago, right, that the real estate market had its best February since 2007. Sales were up 7.2% over a year. And home prices were up 8%. Big reason for the surge in activity is that interest rates had come down to incredible lows and are still at 40-year lows. So as we wrapped up, March, I'm getting the most questions about how we're being impacted with COVID-19. Now, here's where you're going to run a report in your market. In your market, you can run your hot sheet report, your 24-hour, maybe it's a 48-hour report in your market. And then you just report the news. You're going to say, well, let me just tell you what's going on in our market right now. In the past 24 hours, There's been 42 new sales. There's been 32 new listings. There's been 56 new closings. So bottom line is people are actually still buying, still selling real estate, and I'm here to help. First step, if you are in a place where you want to continue to think about buying or selling a home, is to do a virtual meeting. If you know of anyone that would like to talk to me, I'm happy to set that up. Just give me a ring, give me a text, give me a call. Happy to do it. And that's it. You're just putting out there and you're communicating the news, right? Here's another one, really, really quick. Hey guys, one question I'm getting a lot of is how am I conducting business during the COVID-19 crisis? So this is a good one where you're explaining process. People like to hear, well, how is this business adapting? How's this business adapting? This is you talking about how you're adapting to what's going on in the market. So it's a great question. Let me fill you in. First, I'm working remotely from my home office, as you can see. So feel free, call, text, direct message me, or email me anytime. For showings, and this is going to be different market by market, guys, but in my state here, here's what we're saying. For showings, I'm conducting virtual showings using platforms like WhatsApp, Zoom, FaceTime, or Messenger. And I'm doing in-person showings by appointment only, if that's true in your state. When we do visit a home, we take a 10-step process for staying safe and maintaining social distancing standards. I'm also doing video tours and Matterport tours and virtual open houses for my listings. For meetings and contract conversations, I use Zoom, and then for signatures, I'm using DocuSign. It's an electronic digital signature platform. In the last 24 hours in our market, and then again, I review the stats. So buyers are still buying, sellers are still selling. Please let me know if I can help you or anyone you know today. There, I've said how I'm doing my business, and I'm showing off that the market's still active, right? We got to keep working. Now, some of you are going to say, Jim, what are the 10 steps? You just mentioned that you're doing 10 steps. And this is an important note. We all have to make personal decisions about whether we're going to continue to show homes. Our state may not allow us to show homes. But if you're allowed to show homes and you personally decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and continue to show homes by appointment because my state allows it, my brokerage allows it, then it's going to come down to having conversations with sellers and buyers about whether they feel comfortable with the process. This 10-step clean home initiative might assist with people feeling a little bit more comfortable. We're not talking people into anything. It's all about their health and their safety. But you can explain, well, here's our process, just so you know. And here it is. One is we require a pre-qualification letter because we're not going to show a home to somebody who's not pre-qualified. Why put anybody at risk? The buyers included. We got to make sure that these buyers can actually buy a house. So that could be something you add to your listings, that we require a pre-qualified letter before any showings occur. Healthy survey. In our state, a lot of brokerages, a lot of offices are using a healthy survey. And it just says, hey, have you been exposed to COVID-19? Do you have a fever? Do you have a cough? Some basic questions. And it's a requirement for buyers to fill out, and sellers and agents. So we all kind of certify we're feeling good at the moment. Now, we know that's no guarantee of health because people can be asymptomatic, but at least it's helping a little bit. Video tour viewed and approved. So if there's a video tour available at the home, we want the buyer to have looked at it so that they just don't reject it out of hand. Seller then is instructed to open all doors and turn on all lights. Buyers instructed not to touch surfaces, put their hands in their pockets. Buyers and agents remain 6 feet apart at all times. Only 2 people in the home at one time, kind of like when you're going to Costco or any of these stores now. Gloves, hand sanitizer, hands washed upon entry. Wipe down on exit, all doorknobs, that's the buyer's agent's responsibility, and the lockbox. And then the sellers, of course, encouraged to wipe things down again when they come back to the house. So that's our 10-step clean home initiative. Now that might help for buyers too to feel more comfortable. You can show your buyers, you can show your sellers. And some agents are actually explaining too how they are handling the crisis with flyers and social media posts. My buddy Scott Lewis did this with his database and his sphere of influence. Technology helps, but it's still a personal business. And he talks about here's how I can help. Virtual showings and video tours and contract negotiations. He talks about all the tools he's using in his business to continue to work remotely, continue working virtually. I thought it was a great way to show off how he continues to work. But the key to productivity, the key to staying busy right now is going to be your sphere of influence in building deeper, stronger bonds. That being said, I'm going to give you 4 more ways beyond your sphere of influence to build your business, but we're going to dig in here and talk a little bit about your sphere as a starting point, okay? So conversations. In a crisis, if you think about crisis in your family, somebody gets sick, somebody maybe, heaven forbid, passes away. What happens with your family? In my family, and I'm sure like yours, everybody comes together. Crisis brings families together. Crisis encourages conversations. People crave conversations. They crave community in a crisis, right? So how can we tap into this? How should we respond to this as a real estate professional? The first thing is you should be reaching out to your sphere of influence every single day and having conversations. Right now, your dial to connection rate has gone from maybe the average with my students is one. For every 9 dials, you average 1 connection. Right now, it's more like 5 to, for every 5 or even 4 dials, you average 1 connection. So people are at home, so they're answering the phone more often. So here's one conversation. Hey, Jim, just reaching out to all my friends this week, checking in with you, see how you're doing with all this coronavirus craziness. Now, why do I frame it that way? Coronavirus craziness. The reason is there's going to be a group of your people in your sphere that are completely convinced that this is a conspiracy, that, there's some kind of thing happening, that, this isn't a serious, whatever. Then you're going to have another group of people over here that just want to be in complete bubble. They're going to come out with gas masks just to come outside. There's just these two extremes, right? So we don't want to take a position. That's not our place. And by the way, I see a lot of agents taking a position about this on social media and, really coming out one way or another. You got to be very careful because you can alienate easily half your database really rapidly. And this is like a flamethrower. You got to be very careful. It's like touching politics or touching religion. Be careful of how you're coming out. So that's why, how you doing with all this coronavirus craziness? I'm not talking about my position. I'm just getting their position, right? How's it going for you and your family? And then let them talk. They're going to talk, right? Is there anything I can do to help you or your family with just with real estate, but with anything? Now, notice that last line. Is there anything I can do to help you or your family, not just with real estate, but with anything? So I got real estate in there, right? But I'm letting them know I'm here to help with anything. Now, they might just flip this around, and I'm going to guarantee you that about 8 out of 10 times, they're going to say, well, how's it going in real estate? Are you guys really slow? That's going to be the first thing out of their mouths. And then you can say, well, actually, let me tell you what's happening. And you give them the real truth, the transparent facts of the matter, and how you're conducting business, right? And it's just conversational, right? You're just getting the conversation. You're building deeper relationships. By the way, when you get off that call, make sure you're connected to these folks on social media. One of the biggest disconnects I see with coaching students is that they've got 500 people in their database, but they've only connected with 100 of those 500 on social. You've got to have an integration there. Every person in your database has to be connected with you on social, and not just one channel. Connect with them on all channels: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're doing, Snapchat, whatever your channels are, Twitter. Make sure you're connected in all those spaces. And right now, if you're like me, you're getting a ton of friend requests. Am I right? I'm getting 10, 15, 20 friend requests a day because people have more time. Facebook usage is quadrupling. They're saying to us it's like New Year's Eve every single day at Facebook. So don't be afraid, by the way, to reach out to people right now. People want to hear from you. So the other thing is, do you have full contact information in your database? So if you have full contact information in your database, great. But if you don't, you can say, hey, I noticed I don't have your address. Can I grab that from you? I'd love to send you something. Or, hey, I noticed I don't have your wife's email address, or I don't have this or that, whatever you're missing, And then take notes in your CRM. What was your conversation about? How did it go? And here's the most important thing: flag for the next contact. When are you going to be talking to them again? And then, of course, every single conversation we have, handwritten note, right? And we always say in our handwritten notes, super simple: hey, great talking to you today about, and then you talk about what your conversation was, 2 or 3 sentences, not a long paragraph. Signature: let me know if I can help with anything, not just real estate. Put real estate in there, but with anything. 2 business cards, one for them, one to hand out. Now, that's not just like I'm going to contact them once during this entire crisis. It's okay to contact these people every week. Depends on the closeness of your relationship, especially if you have good conversations. They're going to be okay with it, right? If you're communicating and adding value to the conversation. So let me give you another conversation that you could have with your sphere going forward too. You could say, hey, just checking in with you guys. Are you going stir crazy yet? So we're about the 2nd weekend here in Oregon, and my family's going absolutely bananas. We're stir crazy, right? So then I talk about what we're doing at my house. So at my house, it's the 2 S's. It's Scrabble and Survivor. We're watching 40 seasons of Survivor. Somehow we stumbled on that, and we're playing tons of Scrabble. So that's what's happening in our house all the time. And then, of course, we're managing 4 kids. So one thing we're doing more than ever, though, in addition to that, is household projects. My wife Danielle's given me a list of like 50 pages of things to do around the house. So spring cleaning, household maintenance, DIY kind of stuff. Listen, I printed a list. I created a list for my clients. If you want a copy, I'll shoot you over a copy of what we're using, what we're working from. It's not Danielle's list. It's just a list of things that you could you could do. Also, if you need any professionals, now here's where you're going to really add value too. If you need any professionals that you really on something maybe you can't handle, like plumbing, electrical, something like that, landscaping, whatever, handyman, let me know. I have some great people that I use in my real estate business. They really give my clients a great price and a great service. Let me know and I'll connect you. So that's a great way to show value. And then you follow it up by delivering on what you promised. So we created at my company, how to clean your home, tips and tricks for home maintenance, DIY projects. So all these things that we could give to clients so that they feel like, oh, that's kind of fun. That's really a good thing that he handed out. That's a value to me. So we got to find ways to be of value, give people things to do. Texting your clients. You should be texting 10 of your clients a day. Super easy to do. You're at home anyway. Text your clients. Start at Z. Don't start at A because you always start at A. Go to Z and start texting your clients and go up, right? And make a note in your phone where you stop, right? So that's one of the hardest things, like where did I stop? So make a note on your phone where you stop. But here's some text. Hey, I found some good news this morning I thought I would share. Send people good news. Bring the joy. Be somebody that people smile when they see a text coming from you, right? Another one is, hey, I'm hoping to highlight some local businesses on my social media this week. What are some of your favorite local businesses that could use some love? That's a great one, which I'm going to really hammer and talk to you guys about today too. And then give me your quick opinion on this. And then you could have, here's 2 photos of a listing. Here's some marketing text. Here's a new flyer I just put together. Here's a new page on my website. Whatever it happens to be, just get somebody's opinion. People love to give opinions and they love to be engaged. Another big thing right now we should all be doing is video calls. So a video call is a call where you are going to reach out on your phone, but you're going to do it through a video call. So lots of apps to do this. FaceTime, Messenger, WhatsApp. My family's using a system called Marco Polo, which allows you to record a video, right? And it's a video texting app, and then they can watch it at any time. They don't have to watch it in real time, right? So with Messenger, for instance, they have actually got to answer your video call. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But with Marco Polo, you just record one and they can answer it any time. By the way, when you sign up for Marco Polo, which is free, you'll see you can connect your contacts and you'll see all your clients that have Marco Polo already, and then you can just quickly send them all a message, all the ones that are already connected, and then you can invite your clients to Marco Polo as well. It's a fun app for this time. My family has a family group chat, and we're group chatting all day long now. So just take a look at it. Snapchat, of course, is what the kids all use and younger people use. I'm not on Snapchat, but a lot of my friends are. So that's another device that you could use. But start doing 4, 5, 10 video calls a day. Even if they don't answer, which many times they won't, follow it up with a quick text. Hey, just trying to do a little video chat. Miss your face. Miss your face. Somebody asked from Vic on posting. Do I post to personal or business pages or both? So here's the reality with posting on social media. Nobody ever organically looks at your business page, ever. They just don't. So most of the time you're posting on your personal page. What you do on your business page is really for boosting purposes only. So when you post something, here's what you should do. When it's real estate related, put it on your business page, share it to your personal page, and that way you'll have the ability to boost that real estate related information. Just look at it that way. But understand that most eyeballs are going on your personal page. This is a great question to get. Okay, let's keep moving forward here. So here's another one, which I love. Let's grab a virtual coffee. This is a graphic my team put together at my office, our marketing team, which is fantastic. Social media post. Just says, let's grab a virtual coffee. Now more than ever, we have to work hard to stay connected. We're all in this together, and we'll get this done together. Now, I know a lot of my agents are going beyond coffee, and they're having wine. They're doing drinks at night, which is cool too. Have a virtual drink with some of your clients. And it just doesn't have to be one. If you got a group of friends, it could be 4 or 5 or 10 friends by using a Zoom meeting, which is free. They have a basic free version of Zoom, right? And then they've got, paid versions where you can go bigger like we're doing today. But think about that. But let's now dive in. we're going to dive in to 4 categories of clients who need your help. They need your help desperately. Some of them need your help desperately. So we're going to start with business owners. So this is a graphic that I took actually from the National Association of Realtors, their economist blog, and they studied how much of business in America is comprised of small businesses. So you can see that the percentage of establishments that are small businesses, which means from basically less than 5 employees, is 47%. 47% of the businesses in America have less than 5 employees. Pretty amazing, right? So disproportionately, small businesses, people that are, kind of always on the borderline of making it or not, are going to be super impacted by this virus, because a few sales a month on either side of the plus or minus column can really make or break them. So these small business owners truly do need your help, and it's a way that we can actually reach out and create bonds with these business owners that they'll never ever forget. If you try to help someone, truly help someone in a time of need, they never forget it. And we really want to come from a servant's heart. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. I'm here just to help if I can help. And if I can't help, that's okay. I'll help you in the future, right? Because when I give, I receive. And I just come from a place of giving. So there's 4 ways that we can help a small business owner. Number 1 is we can endorse them on social media or with our sphere of influence, right? So we can give an endorsement, an email, a video, a shout out on our social media platforms. We can also give direct referrals of clients, because like I was calling my sphere of influence and I said, hey, if you need a handyman, a plumber, electrician, somebody says, yes, I do know an electrician. Now I'm going to refer that person to my electrician. I'm going to make sure my electrician knows I sent the referral. And that way I'm helping a local business. And that is a great way to do it, a direct referral. Another one is just giving the business owner yourself, giving them some coaching, giving them some advice, some encouragement, doing a brainstorming session, not in person, through Zoom call, even a phone call, just helping them and just being a counselor. A lot of people just need to vent. They have all this pressure, all these stresses on them, and they don't have anybody to talk to. And and most people don't go out for help. We're very closed off when it comes to coming out for help in America. We tend not to ask for help. We pride ourselves on being self-reliant and self-sufficient. So we have this hesitancy to ask for anything from anybody. But when we reach out and ask the question, how can I help you? Or do you just want to talk? I'm here to talk. I'm just here to, you can vent to me. I'm a good listener. Tell me what's going on with you. I don't know if I can help you with anything, but just tell me what's happening. I'll give you my best advice. People will respond to that. And then there's going to be a group of business owners, more than you think. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of business owners are going to need to liquidate something, an asset, sometimes real estate, in order to fund their business and stay in business. Now, this could be their personal house. It could be investment properties. It could be land. It could be their commercial space where they're in. So you can look at this as a potential opportunity, although you are truly coming to help. So let's start with some scripting. I'm going to give you granular, specific strategy here. So first one is, hey, I just want to reach out and I just wanted to check in with you because of this coronavirus craziness. How you doing? And this is me talking to a business owner I already know. Listen, I want to support local businesses in the community. We all have to stick together during this crisis. Listen, I've got, and then you tell them what your assets are. I have, 3,000 people that, are connected to me in some way on social media. I've got, 4,000 people in my database. Even if you have 500, even if you have 200, that's more than enough to make an impression. Okay. And I'd love to promote your company, help drive some business to you. Let's brainstorm what we could offer them so we can get some new customers flowing to you. They will never forget that call if you make that call, right? You're just going to try to help. That's a help call, right? Here's another way to do it on social media. So you could say, hey, who do you know that owns a small business that could use some support in the community? I'd love to share as many local businesses with my friends and family as I can through this crisis and highlight a few each week on social media. Give me your favorite local businesses in the comments below. Now that's you trying to make a connection with new businesses that you may not have a connection with today, right? I posted this on my coaching, closed coaching group today. And Holly, one of my coaching students, immediately went out and did this. I'm curious to see how she's doing with that, but it was fun to see somebody act on this instantaneously. Once you get a response and you get all those comments flowing to you, now you have a reason to make some contacts with business owners. And you can do it because you've been referred to them. Such a more warm call. So you can say, hey, my name is Jim Remling with ABC Real Estate. Do you own, whatever, window washing America or whatever the business is, a restaurant, whatever. Hey, great. You know what? I was referred by my friend, John Smith, and they just love you. They rave about your business. And I'm going to be featuring some of my clients' favorite small businesses on my social media pages throughout the COVID-19 crisis, just trying to encourage everyone to continue shopping local. Would you be good with me posting your business on my page? Now, what do you think every single business owner is going to say? Yeah, of course, that'd be great. Well, tell me about what your business is, man. How long you guys have been in business? Give me all the details. Anything else I can do to help you? I mean, how's it going with this? Or, and let them vent and just say, hey, listen, I'm a business owner. I'm here to help. If you want to brainstorm anything, you want to talk through anything, I am truly here to help for anything that you might need. If you need real estate help at any future point, let me know. And you put yourself out there as a resource. Follow it up, handwritten card, business cards go in the mail, and you're connecting. And when you do the social media post, what you're doing is you're going to tag them in the post. So use the ampersand. So you're going to tag that business in your post so that they see that you did, and maybe they'll share the post on their page. And now you're going to get all this extra exposure because you're going to be exposed to that business's audience, which is incredible. By the way, they usually don't stop there. They usually share it on their personal pages as well, which can expand your horizon as well. There's going to be a group of these vendors, a group of these businesses, even ones that you know or don't know, that can actually offer some great guidance and some help to people in your database. I'm going to give you some examples. So let's look at a home inspector. Home inspector is probably going to be slower than they would be typically. And if I reached out to my home inspector, I might say, hey, I got this idea. I wonder if you'd be okay with doing it, of doing a little webinar with me. I'll just record it on Zoom. It's just me and you having a conversation. Call it a webinar. But just give me like 5 tips for home maintenance. Would you do that for me? And then you do a little webinar, 5 tips for home maintenance. And now you've captured some content. By the way, that can be one of your posts for the week. By the way, this is an evergreen video which you can use and save forever. You can use it on your website, on social media, on YouTube, because it doesn't go stale. That's why they call it an evergreen video. It's not timely. It's not time sensitive, right? It's not perishable. So that's one example. If an electrician is slow, you might say, hey, give us 5 things that people can do in their home that doesn't require an electrical license. No. Or 3 for a plumber, 3 things you can do to make sure your lines don't get clogged. Or, how do you, different things like that. Handyman could be, 5 ways to, build a new railing on your fence or stain your fence or who knows what. Anything that could be helpful, start recording it. If nothing else, if it did nothing, then give that vendor something to do for a half hour or 30 minutes. They're going to feel so good about it, like they've done something today that might get them some business. And of course, you're always going to say, listen, you need my help with anything, real estate or not, I'm here to help, okay? Now, we're going to move on to investors. That was stage 1. Investors is stage 2. So investors in your database, you've got a group of people in your database that are investors. And there's been now in many areas of the country, I would even say most areas of the country, have a moratorium on evictions for some point. In my state, it's 90 days, which kind of gives renters permission not to pay their rent. Now, the rent's still due, but if they know they're not going to get evicted, why pay it, right? Now, my wife owns a property management firm, 500 doors in her property management firm. And right now, she's tallying up what percentage of people didn't pay their rent last month. But I will tell you, it's a high number. So if I'm an investor, I'm terrified. I have super angst right now about this whole situation. So what we're going to do is we're going to call our investors and we're just going to have a conversation. Well, here's what we're going to say. Hey, how are you dealing with the eviction moratorium? Figure it out what is in your state. What's the laws in your state? Are you getting any feedback from renters? They're going to vent. They're going to say, oh, yeah, da, 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 da. They're going to tell you everything. One thing I'm recommending to all my clients is to talk to your lender immediately. Even if you don't need it now, it should say later here. Ask them about forbearance and loan modification. Some lenders are allowing investors to skip payments or do interest-only payments. So one thing we're seeing is some more activity and units coming online, but there's still super high demand. Let me ask you, have you ever considered selling these units? Because that's another option too. And just let them talk. They may say, yeah, maybe I would sell them, or if I have to, I don't want to, but if I have to, I might. Then you can say, great, listen, I'm here if you need me. I'm just a resource for you. By the way, I mean, on the flip side, if you aren't selling and there's some good buys that come to market, do you want me to keep you abreast and let you know if any good buys that come to market? So you have that conversation. Reach out to investors. Advertising a property for rent is another opportunity. So, the market, again, like real estate, sales with rentals, renters are coming and going, despite the market conditions, especially with everybody that's losing their jobs. They could be moving to other areas of the country. So to go home with family, move in with friends, whatever. So this is creating more vacancies. And we're going to see our vacancies rate rise. This is an opportunity for you to make calls to those investment owners. So you say, you watch Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, you call the rental owner and you say, hey, calling about your rental in Facebook Marketplace this morning. And I just wanted to know if you've rented the property yet. They say no. Well, my name is Jim. I'm with ABC Real Estate. I just had a quick question for you, if you don't mind. They'll say, sure. Can I ask you, how long have you owned these units? 5 years. No. So can I ask you, with everything going on with the eviction moratorium right now in the market, have you ever considered selling the units instead of continuing to rent them? Now I'm going to put it out there. Let them vent. Let them talk about it. They're going to say yes or no. If they say yes, great. I'd love to, talk with you a little bit more about that. Talk to you about what you might be able to get for these houses or these units on the open market. If they say no, say no problem. I understand. Would you be interested in acquiring more units if we had some hot buys? Because there's going to be a lot more units coming to market soon. So I'm just going to put it out there and have conversation. Now, the beauty of investors and getting investors into your kind of barn is that they don't do one transaction a year. They're not like every 6 years they do a transaction like most of your database. These are people that are going to do consistent transactions every year. They're going to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deals a year. And so think about it. If I had 5 or 10 or 15 investors in my barn and they were all doing multiple transactions a year, what would happen with my business? My business would explode. Think about targeting investors, because there's probably been no better time in the last 30 years to talk to an investor than right now, because of all the crisis that's happening around investment properties. You can also do some text to your sphere of influence to maybe unlock some opportunities there. Here's 2 quick texts that you could send. One is several investments coming to market now for investors and flippers. Let me know if you know of someone looking for an amazing deal. That's a quick text to your database. Here's another one. Hey, do you know anyone who owns a rental that's concerned about the eviction moratorium? Every one of them do. Okay, just remember this. I'm going to show you this graphic in a minute. Columbia University did a study. Every person in your database actually knows behind them 290 people. Every person in your database knows 290 people. Several of those 290 own rentals, right? So that's why we got to ask these kinds of questions. There is opportunity there. There's a gold mine there behind every single person in your database. It's never about the direct business. It's about what's behind them and tapping in to who they know. You could also do mailings, which I love this concept because you're scaling your time, and you could actually hire somebody to do this on your behalf, especially if you're a team, or if you're just a busy agent. So here is an example of doing a mailing, but targeting properties that are managed by a property manager right now. So you could say in your mailing, hey, I did some research this morning and I found that you own a property on Johnson Street managed by the company name. Now, how would you discover this? Go on to the property management firm's websites and look at vacant properties. Normally, they do list the addresses because they don't want to bother with driving the tenants by. When you get that address, you can simply do a quick search in your county database, find the owner's name, and bingo, send them this letter. Did some research this morning, found that you own a property at 123 Johnson, managed by. Looks like you may have a vacancy because it's on the website. We know there's a vacancy. My name is Jim. I'm with ABC Real Estate. The reason I'm asking is that it's a strong demand from investors for rental units right now. Would you be open to know what the units are worth in this open market? As a side note, if you're not in the market for an offer, I also provide a service to local investors, quick weekly list of the hottest investment properties in the market. Now, imagine doing that every day or having someone do that for every day. Do you think you'll unlock opportunity? You will unlock opportunity. Third target. So there's 2 targets. Third target, vacation rental owners. So with vacation rental owners, this came across my desk this last weekend, because I own a couple vacation rentals. I've been watching this. And of course, as you can imagine, like hotels, everybody's canceled their reservations. I have 0 reservations right now, none. So this is happening with vacation rentals across the country. So the challenge for a lot of vacation rental owners is that they need those payments, that monthly stream of income, to support the mortgage they have on these properties. There's also some super hosts that have gone into complete business and this is all they do. So they don't just own one side property, you know, and have a regular job. This is all they do. So they own 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 of these properties. And all of a sudden their business has gone to zero. So it is a total right target for us to reach out and see if we can help them, or we can assist them, or we can give them some guidance. So here is a script for your sphere members. So reaching into your sphere and just say, hey, do you know anyone who owns a vacation rental? This also could be a post, by the way. It could be a social media post. These folks are some of the hardest hit during the COVID-19 outbreak. 3 quick things. First, my office works with investors who may be interested in acquiring units. Second, some vacation rental owners are now increasing their holdings. And third, Airbnb is now releasing up to $250 million in relief funds. Not sure if you're aware of that, but love to make a connection with anyone you know that might need the help. So you're going to actually give them 3 different options. And believe me, again, they will know someone that needs the help. They do know someone that owns a vacation rental. Now, I'm going to send anybody, in fact, I'm going to give you guys all access. I'm just going to give it to you of all this entire slide deck. So you're going to get the whole slide deck, every script, every email, every text I'm giving you. You'll get the whole slide deck. Watch for an email from me after this session. It'll be probably come in the next 24 hours, and you'll be able to access this. I'm recording this, so you can watch it again. You can share it with people, and you'll get this entire slide deck. So you're not writing that email address down or that website address down. So 2 ways we can go about targeting these properties. If your database, you know, you've exhausted your sphere of influence, how can you go after vacation rentals in a different way? Well, one target would be doing it through mailings, right? And another would be social media targeting. So with a mailing, I'm going to look at zones in my marketplace. So there, in every market, there's generally vacation rental zones that counties and cities have identified. Like, you can have a vacation rental here, you can't have them over here. Identify the zones in your city where you're allowed to have a vacation rental, and send a mailing into there asking if they need any assistance, if they need any help. Use the script we just provided to you as a basis for creating a mailing into that market. Also, social media targeting could be another way of doing this, and you can do that by doing very directed ads. So ad placement, Facebook ad placement, Google pay-per-click placement, and targeting. You can't target necessarily a super direct specific neighborhood, but you can target people that are likely to own vacation rentals. So you can look at you know, what their interests are, and sometimes a lot of these people have signed up for different groups and clubs. And if you can identify, hey, they're a member of an Airbnb club, you can build an audience of people that have subscribed to those clubs. So there's lots of different ways to target that if you get in depth with that. But let me show you another way that will be really easy, okay? Super easy, and all of us can do this like today, right? Like right now, so easy. So if you go on Airbnb, and when I say Airbnb, I mean really any website that deals with vacation rentals, but Airbnb and VRBO are 2 classics because they're kind of by owner sites, right? So I go in there and I just did a search for Los Angeles this morning, and you know, you can pick any criteria. I picked a random criteria, and it's going to give you a list of all the properties that meet that criteria. And then you can go in and look at the individual properties. And as a part of that individual property listing, there is a meet your host section and a way to contact them. So you can actually send them a message through Airbnb. Now, what would you say in a message to them through Airbnb? By the way, in order to do this, you have to create a profile yourself. So you're going to have to create a profile on VRBO and Airbnb in order to send a message through the platform. It doesn't cost you anything, but it takes a little bit, maybe 10 minutes of time to set yourself up. But when you send that message, here's an example of the message you might send. You can say, hey, my name is Jim. I'm a local realtor. Just had a quick question about your unit. Would you consider selling for the right price? The reason I ask is my office has investors who may be interested in acquiring more units. My number is listed on my profile page if you'd be open to a conversation. There you go. Now, if I try to put my phone number in or my website, Airbnb will block it. So don't even try. It just won't work. The other key thing about this is, like all big websites, Airbnb, Facebook, they've got AI in the background that's watching for sales messages. And if you've ever tried to send a sales message to a lot of people on Facebook, you get blocked. You go into Facebook jail, right? You don't want to go into Airbnb jail. And the way you avoid that is you need to change slightly the message that's going out. So don't just copy and paste into 10 of these. Change the message every single time, just a little bit, a few different words, take out a few different words, just change it up slightly. That way the AI is not going to catch it and look at it like you're just repeating yourself over and over again. Maybe do 10 a day. Don't do 50 because again, it'll catch you that way too. Maybe 10 a day would be a powerful and really good target for you to have. So here is some numbers, which is interesting. Columbia University, as I mentioned, says that for every person in our database, everybody behind that knows 290 people. And of that, 11% of the population moves every year. So that's about 33 people a year in every single person in your database knows basically 33 people a year that'll move. Now, that's really interesting and important, but that's not what I want to call your attention to today. Here's what I want to call your attention to today, is that the unreported unemployment rate right now, according to a lot of economists, because we haven't got the updated numbers, right now is between 13 and 14%. But many economists predict it'll now rise to 25%. Now, I want you to think about every person in your database knowing 290 people, and of that group, 14% today and going to 25% are unemployed or are about to be unemployed. Think about that. Think about those numbers. If it's 25%, that's like 75 to 100 people in every single person in your sphere, connections that is unemployed or about to be unemployed. What that creates is massive, unbelievable opportunity for you to help, to be a servant, and to be someone that cares. So here's what you might do, is to reach out and just say, hey, how are you guys doing this week at my house? And we talk about what we're doing this week at my house. As always, we're going to be talking about something positive. So for me, last night we played a game through Zoom. We had our family game night through Zoom, and we played Balderdash through Zoom. We had 10 people on, people from all over the country, and we had fun. So we talked about something fun, which really happened. And then I'm going to go into some serious stuff. I'll say a quick question. Do you know anyone that's lost their job or been laid off because of the coronavirus? They're going to say, yeah, I do. Hey, the reason I ask is that many lenders are now offering something called forbearance. It's basically a way that people can, that lenders will work with you to either skip payments, make interest-only payments during the crisis. Renters in our market, there's some help for them as well. Happy to talk to anyone that could use some help. And you say, hey, love to have that connection, and see if they want to make that connection for you. A lot of them will say, yes, I got some friends that could use that help, or yes, I'll text you their information, or yes, I'll send them your contact information so they can contact you. Put it out there. You could do this on social media as well. When you make contact with anybody that's lost their job, could be the person in your sphere of influence too, offer what you can. You can't, feed everybody. You can't write checks to everybody. I get it. But do what you can. One thing you could do is, hey, say, listen, shoot me your resume. I'd be happy to circulate it to my circle of friends. You never know. Sometimes the key is in connections. Let me know if you guys need any help with real estate, or not even real estate, just anything at all. I'm here to help, okay? So just, if nothing else, and you just want to talk, just give me a call. I'm here to talk, okay? I want to help you guys. So offer to take the resume and circulate it to your friends and the people that you know. Another thing you might do is put together a social media post, or better yet, in this format, a long form email that describes all the ways that they may be able to tap into some help. So this is an email that I received from one of my local competitors, actually, in my local market, and the tagline was, help is on the way, and they line out all the things that people can tap into: the cash that's coming from the stimulus, the tax relief, the student loans, the unemployment benefits, forbearance, as I've been mentioning, Section 8 vouchers, auto loans, credit cards, loans for small businesses. I mean, they spelled out everything, and they've just done a really good job of this. So think about how you can put that out to your database as well. Maybe listing all the ways that people can get some help if they're unemployed or need some financial assistance. That's something else you can do. One of my friends, Mary, as well, Mary, up at the Roseburg market where I used to work, she posted this, which I thought was beautiful. She said on her social media, if anyone's not working, or even if you are, and you run low on food, please don't let your kids or yourself go to sleep with an empty stomach. Please don't be afraid or embarrassed to send me a private message. I'll never tell a soul. I'll be more than happy to share whatever I have with you. I'll drop off groceries and go. What a beautiful message, right? Massive engagement. It's still growing. I just thought it was great. And we could follow that along with maybe having a care team that we put together with our own sphere of influence, where you reach out to your sphere, people that you really are high-level sphere members, and say, hey, how you guys doing this week? How's it going with social distancing? Hard to stay home. You talk about that. And then you move into, hey, I'm putting together a little care team to help families in need in the community, people that have lost their jobs, been laid off. Just a few of us that are going to send something to families who could use the help. Could be just a card, food drop-off, virtual gift, just something to lift their spirits. If you know of anyone that could use the help, let me know. And if you'd like to join the team, I'd love to have you. Now, what's going to be the byproduct of all this help you're trying to give to people is that there's going to be people in need that will have to sell their house, not by choice, but because they have to. Or there's going to be people that maybe need to buy a bigger house because they have family members that are moving in with them. I mean, there's going to be need in different forms and fashions. So you want to be there and be the person that's out there talking and having conversations with your sphere. Super important. One of my friends, Renee Spahn, did virtual Popeyes recently to her sphere. We've always been trained to do a Popeye where we stop by and give a gift, item of value to our database. Of course, we can't physically do that now, but what she said is she texted and let people know in her database, hey, I'm gonna do a virtual Popeye. Don't come out because I can't shake your hand. Just gonna put something on your doorstep, just a little gift for me, just to remind you that I'm thinking about you and that I care about you and I'm here to help for anything real estate related or not. And then she put a gift on their door, and a lot of people came to the door and waved at her. They yelled at her, and they thought it was a beautiful gesture. So virtual Popeye is a great idea. So your 90-day plan, guys, your 90-day plan. I know for everybody it's going to be different, but for my coaching students, here's what I'm specifically recommending. And this is it. I'm going to lay it out for you. 10 calls per day to your sphere of influence over the next 90 days. 10 calls a day. It's a lot. Okay. And when I say calls, I mean connections, not just your dialing. Because if I got 9 dials and 1 connection, that doesn't count. 10 connections a day. 10 texts per day, starting with Z and moving your way up. 10 cards per day, because I'm making those connections. I'm following up every conversation with a card. And here's the big one, guys. 10 posts per week. 10 posts per week on social media. 2 a day. You're going to say 2 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day. You have friends that are doing 5 and 10 a day. I'm asking for 2 a day. They don't have to be all real estate related, but 10 posts per week. You should have, 3 or 4 or 5 of them be real estate related. And of those, here's the way they should break down. 2 or 3 videos would be ideal, and 2 or 3 stories would be ideal. Now, this is a challenge for some of you that don't post a lot, but I'm telling you, this is Facebook is where people are consuming so much content right now. They're on Facebook all day long. The other thing you can do is target 1 or 2 of these extra 4 areas that I gave you today, right? So if you're going to target 1 or 2 of these areas, make 10 calls. It should say texts there, emails, messages per day to the target group. So some work to do there. I'm going to move over to something here real quickly, guys, because I want to share this with you. This is really an important concept, is what is working online. Several of you have invested thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in online marketing. In talking to my coaching students, the people that I work with across the country, and major teams, offices, individuals, I'm going to tell you what's working and what's not working. Let's start with what's not working. What's not working is Zillow and Realtor.com, because people aren't going to those sites right now. It's just not in their consciousness to start searching right now for the most part. Their volumes are down by 50% or more. And they're proactively reaching out and giving massive discounts to all their clients because they know the lead gen is just not there. Where is lead gen coming from? Facebook. Facebook is the juggernaut right now. So you are getting a huge bang for your buck, right? They haven't really increased rates yet, but your number of eyeballs for your audience is going down dramatically. One of my teams, one of the top teams in the country, was sharing with me that he was spending $2.50 a lead, brought it down to $1.50 per lead. Amazing, almost 50% discount. Instagram, of course, YouTube, huge. A lot of people don't know that YouTube consumption is more than all of the network television's consumption and Netflix combined. Think about that. YouTube every day gets consumed more than that. And then Google, LinkedIn, another big one, and Google pay-per-click advertising, great values right now. That's a great place to shift your money if you're moving money out of Zillow and out of Realtor.com. So we covered a tremendous amount of ground in a short period of time there. I would love to have you stay on the line for those of you that are interested for just a minute. And I'd love to share with you what we're doing on the coaching side of our business. I know a lot of you have reached out to me about coaching. A lot of you are curious about coaching and haven't reached out. But I'd love to share with you how that looks and see if it might be something that you're interested in at all. So what I've done at my company, which is eRealEstateCoach.com, is I've built what we call the Netflix of coaching. It's called The Path Performance Coaching. And it's really designed for agents that are ready to go to the, kind of the next level with their business. It's very affordable, and I'd love to show you just kind of how it looks and how it functions. So I'm going to log in, and you can actually see behind the scenes of how this coaching platform works. By the way, it's one of the most affordable coaching platforms in the country, and it's always growing. It's not static. It's getting bigger and bigger all the time. We just added a full listing presentation mastery course to it a couple weeks ago. We're adding on to that in the next couple weeks with even more. So lots going on. So when you're a student with me, you log into your Path Performance Coaching right here. I'm going to go to the course. They call it a course, but it's an entire platform. So every single mastery course that's on our website is included on the Path. So that's our FISBO, our Expired, our social media, our Sphere of Influence, our Open House, our Builders, our Investment Bracket mastery course. All those courses are included, plus a lot more, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of video lessons for you to tap into. So when you jump in, I'll just give you an example. I'm going to start with Supercharge Your Success Cycle. When you jump in, you can watch the video at your leisure on any device, anywhere, anytime. These are just like you watched today, lots of highly specific, granular pieces of information. So you can watch the video, and then while you're watching the video, you're going to see and hear me talk about scripts, forms, text, emails, drips, social media, and you can plug into everything I'm talking about here on the right side. So it's plug and play. So you can download it instantly and start using it in your market right now. So there's no waiting around for it. It's there and available. A couple of things we've added to the platform this year, which has really made a big difference for a lot of our students, is we've added video lesson challenges. So a lot of people get trapped in edutainment. So they love to be entertained with somebody that's a good speaker or a good presenter, but then they don't actually go out and apply it. So we've given everyone now a video lesson challenge. So every time you watch a course, you can take the video lesson challenge, and it pushes you to go take action on the material. So we found that to be very, very successful. The other thing that we've added is live coaching. So all the members of our coaching platform get to benefit from live coaching every Monday, 30 to 40 minutes of coaching from me on the most relevant, the most timely coaching that I can give you, scripting, all kinds of things that are going on, text, emails, ideas, market-driven strategy, but also the students themselves are placing all kinds of content on here all the time. I just did an interview with Joshua Smith that's coming out soon. So lots of content there. The other thing that we've added to it is something called our 5x5. So the 5x5 is, for those of you that really want to work on your sphere of influence, every week in your inbox, you get 5 different scripts for reaching out to your sphere of influence through 5 different methods. So we give you a phone script, a text script, an email script, a social media script, and lots of scripts. So 5 different scripts for you to reach out to your sphere every single week to really grow your business. So what does that cost? All that is $97 a month. Cancel anytime for any reason, and we give you 14 days free just to try it out. So I don't take every student, but I do love to have a discovery call with students before I allow them to come into the system. We really want to only work with students that are going to really apply the materials and really work. But unlike a lot of coaches who have you sign up for a year, you can cancel anytime for any reason. Super affordable. A lot of you also want or would prefer one-on-one coaching directly with me every month. If you're interested in that, I'm happy to have that conversation with you as well. So that's another discovery call where we have that kind of quick meeting, and we just talk about what your goals are, what you're looking for, and what I can do to help you. So a little bit of an overview about what we're doing at my company. I hope you've enjoyed this and you've gotten a lot out of it. I'm going to see if there's any questions here. If you have a question, there's a little chat room where you can ask a question. There's a Q&A there. So don't see any other ones here. I think we've covered them. All right, guys. Well, have a fantastic day. Good selling. This recorded session will be coming out soon to you along with the slide deck. Have a great day.